Here's my BCP plan for the presentation in case it's not about. Okay, so this presentation is unclassified. There's a lot of information in here, and you'll have to bear with me because I may need to read my notes quite a bit.
Does it draw a video?
This is
Need to get this clear.
this is factual, so there is stuff in here that is public knowledge, and there is stuff in here that we are actually doing. However, when you come to ask me questions and I'm required to provide answers, it is Jared's opinion, not the NZU's opinion. Thank you. So the key thing around us is it's not about the technology, it's about the business impact. Right. And for too long we've looked at cybersecurity and cyber in the supply chain as something that is a technical thing, it's the size of a CIO, until you have a massive failure. Okay, so a couple of things we're going to cover today. So why is it important? So we look at supply chain in terms of assurance to support our missions, as well as some of our general corporate business outputs. Our view of cybersecurity and supply chain, so we're looking at supply chain core elements, how we do vendor accreditations, and then we're looking at some current work that we're doing and some future intent. And I do use the word intent, what we're trying to do, because it is a bit of a bureaucracy. Okay, so why is it important? Because it has real world impacts. So if you look at the 5 headlines here, so we talk about the SolarWinds attack that was recently publicised quite a bit. Again, there was a supply chain attack that affected ICT systems, but ultimately it was about data exfiltration and information exfiltration. So think about it in the context of a private sector company, that's your intellectual property that's being leaked out via a supply chain attack, or in the case of government or a defence organisation, it's intelligence capability that's going out. If you look at the ASUS supply chain attack, so that was a supply chain attack on their physical hardware, and that allowed for tens of thousands of computers to go out with malware pre-installed, which would affect lots of customers around, again, how that data is exfiltrated and how hackers might use the environment. The most recent one is Waikato DHB, and again, it was a massive data breach that took down their systems, but again, whilst it was a technical thing, it impacted the ability to provide services to citizens and healthcare outputs. And then how a major oil pipeline got held for ransom, again, the impact was an economic one. So whilst it was a cyber attack or a ransomware attack, there was an economic effect on the price of petrol and oil in that region. So I'm actually going to cover off a cyber attack that happened to Target in 2003. And the reason I do it is because it covers off quite a few things around our third-party supply chains. So, key takeaways from their attack. So the hackers compromised the third-party vendor. So they had a third-party vendor that provided heating and cooling to their environment and had attached computer systems to that. One of their employees happened to click on an email link and therefore got downloaded some ransomware, and it allowed the hackers to get into their environment, which is obviously connected to Target systems. Target also had a vendor portal where vendors would come in, and once that vendor was compromised, the attackers were able to actually go to the vendor portal and start harvesting logins and credentials and so forth of Target employees. Once they did that, they managed to gain control of the Target's servers, and that meant it was all the systems within Target, so their logistics systems, it was their point of sale systems. And the key impact, when we looked at the compromise of Target's point of sale systems, the hackers were able to glean credit cards and sales details and personal details that they could actually then put out online, get money from it on the dark web, as well as sell the credit cards. So when you look at the impact, that's a massive impact to Target as an organisation, because you lose trust and faith in the brand of the organisation. So what lessons did they learn? So again, I've taken this from a bunch of articles, and if you read the list there, which I'm not going to go through, it's a lot of technical stuff.